Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my second episode of the Millennial Fuck Up. And today's topic is going to be about being broke. And the reason why I decided to talk about being broke is because I feel like it's after everything that all of us have been through this year, I just feel like in my heart it was something that I really wanted to talk about. It's something super personal. And I just felt like I was ready to talk about it. So before I jump into, being broke, I wanted to talk about from the very beginning. So 3 years ago, I was working 3 jobs and I was a full-time student. My 3 jobs was 2 of them I was being a server at 2 different restaurants, and the third one I was working for an attorney, of course, of taking care of the kids and also helping his wife, and just things related to the home aspect. So during that time, I was making really good money. I would say that I would bring home about over $3,000, or if not around that. But being a server, it's not easy. And if you are a server, I give you a lot of props. But to be honest with you, I felt like being a server was very difficult, not just because, small reasons, but you're on your feet all day, your back hurts. For me, my walking started changing. And not just that, but my attitude started changing because being a server, you really have to deal with a lot of personalities. You really have to deal with a lot of people. Sometimes they're in a great mood, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're patient, sometimes they're not. And a lot of people don't have patience. It's very rare to find people who do have patience. So, and you are working based off your service. So like, let's say the kitchen is slow or something happens, or, you're being pulled in different directions, or et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't see that. A lot of people don't see the back that happens while serving. So for me, I felt like serving was such a dreadful job for me because it was so hard. Just like I said, on my feet, on my back. It was just really painful, and it got to the point where I just did not want to wake up in the mornings anymore because I just didn't feel like I just didn't want to wake up. And I would tell, and I just remember laying in my bed gosh, I wish I didn't wake up. And that's a really ugly feeling to feel because I feel like with life, it's so precious and it's such a short amount of time. And I feel like you have to enjoy it. You have to take advantage of it. And when I got to that point, I started to become someone that I didn't want to be anymore. So for me, it was like, I have to get out. And meanwhile, I was working those 3 jobs. I was also a full-time student as well. And that was over 3 years ago. But about a year and a half ago, I was introduced to a vision, to a new opportunity. And it was something so different from what I was taught, from what I was grown up with. So for me, when I was introduced into that opportunity, it felt like a breath of fresh air for me. Because I felt like with those 3 jobs, I was working harder, not smarter. But with this new opportunity, I had an opportunity to work smarter and not harder. And a lot of the times, a lot of us, we don't realize that. But so I was introduced to this company about a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago. And I have to admit, it was the best decision of my life to take a chance to hear about this opportunity, even though it may have its downfalls, but I truly did grow up to be the person that I am today. And once I was shown this opportunity, my vision and my mindset completely changed. Just like I said before, it was something that I wasn't grown up with. So that most definitely changed my perspective. because ever since I was a little girl, I have always dreamed of always retiring my parents and giving them the world, that me getting them their dream house and me paying off their house, me getting them their cars that they want, having them travel all over the world. And for what I was studying for at the university, I was studying to become a forensic anthropologist. But the top person in that field makes about $100K a year. And for me, in reality, I didn't feel like $100K is enough for me to retire my parents or for them to travel the world, especially for me to travel the world, because it wasn't just them that I wanted to build the dream for, but I wanted also to give me certain things, like also to travel. My dream home is a big home, but I'll share details later. It's not truly a big home, but for those that really know me, they know I want a really big land. And I felt like with the $100K income, it wasn't going to be enough for my parents. And I'm talking about solely my income. I'm not talking about someone else's income, just because I've never grew up wanting that. So I've never thought of like, oh, my $100K plus someone else's. No, it's always been only my income, so that I can help my parents type of thing and to support myself. That's just the way that I think. I know many people do have that opportunity to share that income with another person, but for me, I just always thought like it's only going to be me, my income for my parents, my income for myself, my income for my dreams, my income, etc. And so that is why I also skewed to the new opportunity, just for that main reason. And once I was sold to the new opportunity, I truly did decide that I wasn't going to be serving at one restaurant. I decided just to keep one, just because I only had to work like a little bit of hours during the week. So it wasn't that much of a hassle, and I did cut my hours with the attorney. So for me, I was more focusing on the new opportunity that was approached to me, and not focusing so much just like, the reasons of working smarter, not harder type of thing. So that is why I decided to cut my hours. I was still going to school at that time. And then once I cut my hours and a couple months go by, I remember in the month of November, so that is in 2019 of November, that was when I decided to take a trip to Utah. And I surprisingly started growing my business out in Utah. And that was where I decided, you know what, I'm going to move to Utah, and I'm going to, do something with my business here, just because my business was mainly growing in Utah and it wasn't as much in California. So that was when I decided to make that transition and that decision of moving to Utah for that. And I have to be quite honest, it was something that I was absolutely not ready for, but it was something that I really wanted to do, and I'm that type of person that once I have my mindset, it can't be changed. It can be changed, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, etc. And so I was not ready. So just like I said, I wasn't prepared, so I was not prepared financially, mainly in that aspect, and that was when everything did go downhill. When you're working on 1099, sometimes it is very difficult because you wait for, certain things to pay out, and it does take quite a bit of time, and some people, want to get paid right away, and sometimes it doesn't work that way, so I remember in the month of December, that was when I truly fell rock bottom. That was when I went completely broke. I wasn't completely broke to the point where I didn't have money for my bills, but I did have enough to only pay for my bills and for my gas, but I didn't have enough for food. So in the month of December, for 2 weeks, I went 2 weeks straight of just eating strictly mints and water. And this is very difficult for me to talk about. I may even get emotional a little bit because when you fall rock bottom, you feel like there isn't a way out. And sometimes you feel like you can't ask for help. And that's where my perspective was. So I am sorry if I'm going to get emotional. It's just something that it is very hard to talk about, but it's something that I'm not afraid to talk about because I feel like if you hide certain things or you hide certain aspects of your life, you're just being a fake person. But that's just my opinion. I'm a very open person where I don't really mind talking about myself. But for me, that was just how I am and how I think. So that's just my opinion. Don't go after me just for stating that. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but that is just me. I went 2 weeks with just mints and water, and it was very hard. I'm not sure if you guys know, but mints kind of do take away your hunger. And that is something that I learned, and I hope you guys don't ever have to go through that. I really prayed. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. I wish everyone to have enough money to have food and a roof over their head. But and every single time I talk about that, I've had a couple of questions come up when I've said that statement before. One of the statements is, why didn't you get cup of noodles or maruchan or hot pockets, etc. There are foods that you can afford. But the thing is that when you are in that mindset of food or gas, you're gonna pick gas because you have to go and make your money. So I wasn't thinking about food. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about having a 25-cent cup in my stomach. Does that make sense? And so for me, I was not thinking about maruchan. I wasn't thinking about none of that food, because when you're in that state of mind, you're thinking about my next bill. I have to pay for this. I have to pay for that. Creditors are calling you, or, you have to pay for your rent, or you have to pay for something. Everyone has a bill each month, and we all worry about that bill in case if we're not. And to be honest with you, when, just like I've said, when you're in that mindset, when you're in that state, you're not even thinking about food because you're thinking about my next bill, my next thing, when am I going to do this? When am I going to do that? Etc. So for me, I was most definitely in that mindset where food was just not coming across to my mind. And another question that I do get asked is, why didn't I ask for help? And the reason why I did not ask for help is because a specific family member made me feel so terrible of asking help from my parents. So once that person made me feel so terrible of asking help from my own parents, I was like, okay, all right, sounds good. So there you have it. And so that where I was, and since I felt that way, or since I was made to feel that way of not asking help from my parents, what makes you think I'm gonna ask friends, family, or cousins of that nature? You know what I mean? If someone made you feel so bad about even asking your parents for help, what makes you even think of even asking, friends, family, etc.? So that is why I did not ask, anyone for help, because I was made to feel a certain way that I just didn't want to ask for help. And it wasn't like an ego thing, but really when someone makes you feel that low of even asking your parents to pay for a bill for you, What makes you think they're gonna wanna, what makes you think that you're gonna be asking, hey, I have an 8, can you give me some $20, type of thing. So that is the reason why, I didn't ask for help. That is why my mindset wasn't thinking about eating cup of noodles or Hot Pockets and stuff like that. So once I was truly like on day 12 of my fasting, I said to myself that I wasn't going to go through that ever again, because when your back is towards a corner of a wall, or it's on the wall, or once you hit rock bottom, I know it's going to sound so cheesy, but the only way you could go is forward. You know what I mean? If your back is on a corner, you have to go forward. If you hit rock bottom, the only way that you could go is up. And so that was what I decided. So finally in January, I did start getting, large checks, and I started to become stable. My income did not, skyrocket until July, until August. In August, I was $182 shy away from $10,000. And that was because I was doing, insurances, I was doing freelance, and I was doing a lot of other projects that a lot of people don't know about. So that is why I was to that amount in August. But I feel like when you make that type of amount of money, you have two options. I feel like, in my opinion, you can either challenge yourself to make more than that, or you can get comfortable. And I unfortunately took the decision to go the comfortable route. I was like, oh, this is gonna save me, a couple, 3 months, 4 months, hopefully. It only lasted me 2 months in reality. And once you get comfortable, it's very hard to get out of your hole. And so for me, I just felt like, and once you go into entrepreneurship, you really have to be disciplined, because if you're not disciplined, it's not going to work out for you, and you're just going to blame that company, or you're just going to blame other people for your fails. But in reality, you have to take your own responsibility, and I take full responsibility. Is that I was not disciplined. Number 2, I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even doing anything. So for me, I was the one that failed. I was the one that failed entrepreneurship. And I was the one that failed being on 1099. And so for me, realizing that decision, that I wasn't being disciplined anymore, I wasn't doing what I had to continue with that type of income. So for me, I decided to truly go back to a W-2. And I'm being completely honest with you guys, because I'm just not afraid to be honest and, show you guys this perspective of me. And, I did go back to a W-2. I became a paralegal again. And so for me, I do work with attorneys, and I still do entrepreneurship on the side after work. And I also do freelancing too. I do a lot of stuff on social media. Brands do reach out to me. So I am getting different incomes, but it's not just a W-2, because, and the reason why I did choose to go back to a W-2 is because I was really sick and tired of not being disciplined anymore. I was so lazy. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna wake up at whatever time that I want, etc., and all this other stuff. And no, that's not how you're supposed to do. I have so many goals and dreams, and do I think that I can achieve all those while being lazy? Absolutely not. So that is my decision to why I decided to go back to a W-2, is because I really wanted something stable. But my insurances, my freelances, my branding and all this other stuff, all of that is being supplemented to my income. So I would love to leave this video on a positive note, and I would like to talk about my 2021 financial goals. Number 1 is that I would love to be credit card debt free. Number two is I would love to have my credit score over 700. Number three, I would love to be able to buy my first home. And my first home, I really want it to be a fixer-upper. I would really love to fix up my house, so that's my goal, to buy a home in September, a fixer-upper. And it's not a home that I would like 3 bedrooms or anything, maybe a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. It really doesn't matter to me, as long as it's my home in September. Number four, I would really love to have a 3-month, a fully 3-month emergency fund. So all my bills and all that, for 3 months on the side, and into an account for me. And that is basically like what I envision myself financially in 2021 for my goals. And on another thing that I would like to talk about before I truly do end the video now is that reflecting back, talking to you guys about this, about how I went broke and all this other stuff, how I was making good money, but then I went completely broke, and then now I'm stable again. Reflecting back to that time in December of last year, 2019, where I went 2 weeks broke, was that I truly did not appreciate food. I did not appreciate money, and I did not value the help that my parents give me. So, and I feel like now I hate throwing away, wasted, like unfinished food, I'm that type of person that I would take everything home, just because I really would hate to go through that ever again. Because during that time I was like, gosh, if I didn't throw away this, if I didn't throw away that, et cetera, et cetera. So looking back, reflecting back is, I didn't appreciate food, which I appreciate food now to the max, because I don't throw it away for anything. I truly appreciate money, and I'm so thankful to have it. You have no idea how much I pray to God every single day, how thankful I am to have it, because the stress levels, they were terrible, So I truly pray to God, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for my parents, for sure, for helping me and everything, and my family, my siblings, they're always gonna be there. And I just got to thank them. So that is it for today for the video of being broke. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was super emotional, and it's very long. It's over 20 minutes. I totally did not mean for this video to be so long, but I felt like it was so important for me to speak about it. And if you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any, questions for me that you guys want me to go into detail, please comment, like, or anything. And I will see you guys on next Wednesday on my next topic. Thanks. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.